and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Indie Credible Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Xander Scullion, and join with me is Jeffrey Winhagen. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, I am feeling the itis today. It's been a wild day. Yeah, and I say the itis because I'm still in training at the Sergeant Major Academy. Today, all of our international sergeants major made food from their countries.
Ooh.
So 60 plus countries of food. And we just walked around and toured the aisles, and I can't eat bread because I have a bread allergy from anthrax shots in the army. But I sat there and I was eating so many delicious dishes, and so I'm drinking energy drink today because I can stay hyped and stay crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean that. Oh man, that's one of the main reasons why I would love to travel everywhere is just eat all the food. I love all that stuff, and I also really love indie games. But before we get to some indie games,
I also really love indie games. There's my transition. I'm Xander. Well, let's talk about the 2 week backlog at the time that y'all will see this, but it's live. It's new for us right now, and it is. It's an elephant in the room. The elephant in the room that is the Switch 2 video that went up. And it's a few days removed. We've had time to both think and ponder, and for me, come up with more questions because I have more questions now, Xander.
Yeah.
It is crazy. So what are your initial thoughts on the Switch 2 outside of the price, which arbitrarily, I bought a Lenovo Legion ago and that thing was like $700 or something. So Switch 2 is I get it. It's more expensive, but we knew it kind of would be, and especially with EMI and a better screen.
It makes sense.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts on the overall thing outside of prices? Because we're going to talk the game card prices. But what are your thoughts of the overall Switch 2?
Overall, I mean, aside from some of the caveats, is exactly what I wanted, a more powerful Switch, And it was when I watched the direct, I was, it felt like Christmas morning. It was this announcement after announcement. I was getting excited, and some stuff was but I was like, man, this is cool. This is a brand new Nintendo console. But of course, after the direct, I'm like, how much is it?
Yeah.
It like you said, it left so many questions. And then as that honeymoon phase wore off of seeing a brand new Nintendo console, all of a sudden you were just like, wait a minute, they're bringing back region locked content. It's like, wait. It's the more we started finding out, the more it's just oh, this is a bummer. It's a bummer.
Well, and I've said since day one of this podcast, and I've also said it on the old podcast, the old Playcast. If it's not backward compatible, I'm only supporting first party. I'm done, son. And exclusives essentially. Yeah. And the first thing I saw on the screen with the tech is I'm like, only some first party are supported for Switch 1. So I'm like, okay, so I'm still gonna have to play my Switch. So the Switch 2 is less desirable for me as a main console. Now, if it ends up being that it's all fully backward compatible or something then, we'll see. But if it is only, partially compatible, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to tinker. And we are in a post-Steam Deck world now. And so Nintendo limiting regions due to tariffs and all that and doing all these extra things. Because I think the region locking is only for Japanese only language consoles with a Japanese account, which I have a Japanese account. I can do moderate Japanese, reading and speaking. So I could probably understand it, but on the other side, I don't know if it's actually region locked content though.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a lot of questions because with every question comes well, what about this? It's another telling question. Because I mean, to me, it's like I was like, I'm almost wondering if like this is something they're doing just to kind of keep the Switch alive in some aspects. Because what's really weird is they had that Nintendo Direct before the Switch 2 Direct, and this like Direct before the Nintendo Switch Direct was like saying, "Hey, we're still supporting the Switch," and I'm wondering if they're going to try to have like the Switch as like this nice, affordable thing, and then maybe that's going to limit some of the Switch 2 until later and they do an update and boom. That's all they had to do at the end of the day is just update it,
No, not necessarily if some of the chips are different and not comparable. If something's weird like that, then they would have to like apply a patch to each game, which is on the developers to do. Now, one thing that I do know is I've seen a lot of people commenting, "Oh, X game is going to be done by limited run games or whatever," like Yakuza, for example. Be very clear that unless they were invited specifically by Nintendo, the portal isn't accepting new applications for third-party developers, third-party publishers. So it's not open yet. The Nintendo's website and system and construct are not supporting Switch 2 yet for the indie side. And that's specifically indie because, as you know, there's already games developed for Switch 2. So the big wigs have had this for over a year. Now, they did the same crap with Switch 1, and it's like year 3 is when it started to open up a little bit. And why? Because I'm working on the books. I see when limited run is popping in year 2. And then year 3, I'm starting to see the first release by First Press Games, which is a whole new world. I'm starting to see these. And then, by the time you get into year like 4, that's when you got premium edition and all the extras, and then it starts to explode. So it's going to be the same crap. There's going to be a multi-year backlog if Nintendo does that from an indie perspective, which also means they might keep that sucker like on the lockdown. Like you're saying, they might just use it as a tactic to keep the Switch 1 alive, which I feel like is
I don't know why. Yeah.
Well, it's not going to isolate the Switch 1 users. It's one of the biggest user bases in the history of console gaming. It's more so you're going to alienate Switch 2 users and make people like me like maybe have some doubt if I'm going to, support day one or just wait because there's no reason to adopt early. I mean,
look at the Switch 1. I mean, the Switch 2 could definitely maybe be another 10-year lifespan. We never know.
Or it could be another Wii U.
Yeah, that too.
Wii U had some great games, but the lack of support and the lack of proper marketing caused it to fail. And so, I want the Switch 2 to do great. However, they gotta get their shit together because, I mean, what was it, $70 to $80 game prices for most physicals, and some are $90 with the additions?
Yeah, that's a lot to digest. I mean, especially like, having $20 and going on Steam and buying like 50 games.
And the thing, so I mean, like, I don't see a reason to rebuy Elden Ring, to rebuy Cyberpunk, to rebuy Hogwarts Legacy. I have them on Steam. Why would I rebuy them unless it's fully physical on the cartridge, which Cyberpunk, I'm sure is, at least that's the rumor, is that all 64 gigabytes are on the cartridge. Then it's like, okay, now I can have it preserved. So later on, all the networks are gone. I can pop that sucker in and play it. But I'm not going to play it now, so I have no reason to buy it now either.
Yeah.
So that is one of the questions that I have. Is there a reason outside of first party Nintendo for the Switch 2?
Not for me personally. I mean, at the end of the day, I think about what made me excited about the Switch 2, and it was just the first party exclusives, like the Mario Kart World and the new Donkey Kong. Like those two,
Yeah.
like, man, that's everything else just feels like I would just be enhancing my Switch experience.
So I'm cool with playing Zeldas again.
That too.
Not like the Zelda tattoo. So I'm a huge Zelda fan. Am I going to rebuy it with a physical, if it's all on cartridge, am I going to rebuy it for Switch 2? Maybe. That's a maybe pile right there. I think 160, 170 or 170, 180, whatever it is like that. Like I think Breath of the Wild's $10 cheaper than Tears of the Kingdom. But there's really only at launch 2 games that I will be buying. And number one is Mario Kart World. The other one is the digital only Deltarune because my daughter is a huge fan.
Oh yeah.
Of
Oh, that's right. That's right. The Undertale. Yeah.
That's
just. I'm glad you brought that up because I was seeing the direct and I'm like, man, that's wild. How, thinking about indie, this is like an indie game that's become so popular that it's on Switch 2. Like,
and Switch 2 is the first debut of Chapter 3 and 4. For it. And so I know London and I played Undertale on Switch together. I played it on the PC like when she was little and she didn't even know about it. And then we played it together just last year. And so I was like, hey, do you want me to buy Delta? She's like, absolutely. So that right there makes me lean towards supporting Switch 2 early. I probably won't get the Mario Kart bundle, even though it's $50 more because it's a digital only copy, and I'd rather have the clean console box. I want the clean console box unless it had a physical in it. I don't like console variants. There's I think I only own one console variant sticker. I think it's the Mario Kart Super Nintendo that I got later. I didn't own that, so there's not a whole lot of console variants that I enjoy. So. But yeah, there's really only 2 games, and then the month after is when Donkey Kong comes out in July. So there's no reason to...
Yeah, because you got the Metroid Prime Beyond, but that's also going to be on Switch.
That's later.
That's
also later too.
Yeah.
Whereas Metroid Prime Beyond's not a launch game, is it?
No. I think it comes out in the holiday, I believe.
But there's only one other exclusive that I saw besides for Kirby Air Ride, which I'm not a big, like if it was F-Zero, I'd be on it, but I'm like, even if Sakurai does it, I'm like, okay. I'll see what the reviews say. If I'm bored with my video gaming and we don't have infinite indie games, maybe. Yeah. But like, and so again, so for the listeners, viewers, keep in mind we're Steam gamers too. Like Steam Deck, like there's Steam on the PC. We have all of these ideas, these games. So like Cyberpunk, I'm pretty sure is a launch game, but I have it already. So I don't need to spend if it's $80. I don't need to spend the $80 because the console's already $450, and then if I want any of the accessories, any other stuff, like that's going to be a $600-$700 day. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, are you gonna get the Switch 2 camera? You're gonna get that?
Oh.
The
video was laggy for when they.
It was so bad. It was so bad that the webcam that like quality looked like a PS2 iToy. It was like 15 frames. I'm like, come on. Like the Wii U had like a phenomenal video like conference like system, but no one had ever used it. But it was great. The camera was great on the Wii U.
Well, there's already third party that's doing a Piranha Plant one for Hori, and maybe you can plug and play with a normal camera. So I don't see a reason to buy their proprietary camera until the bugs, because when you buy a new console, you're also bug testing.
Yeah.
So
early adopter, yeah.
If I'm already an early adopter, I'm not buying any of the extra shit until the kinks get worked out because I have an infinite backlog already to play. Like realistically, Nintendo has made my my idea of collecting only first parties very easy to make. And there's one other thing we didn't talk about that's making it even more easy, and that is the game key card. The damn game key cards, which essentially is the old code in the box, but just with a cartridge. I put in our notes, I'm like, it's like a dongle to use software. It's a dongle. So there's certain software that you would buy, and you have to have a USB dongle for it to register the game or the license. That's literally what the key card is that's giving you a license, but there's nothing on the card. So it's not as cool because later on, you won't be able to play the game.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like key card games, not collecting those. It'd be like collecting a card, one of those cards, that those little credit cards that you see at Walmart. Like,
yeah, you know what it made me think of? It made me think of the infamous DuckTales release on the Wii U. You remember that was some controversy a while back when they made a pseudo physical, and it was like the box art in the box, but inside was like a little code. I remember that. Yeah, and I remember getting the Sonic Mania like special collector's edition back in the day that has like the Sonic statue.
nothing in there.
Yeah, that was just the code. That's all it was.
And I'm pretty sure until later they did not release a physical for Sonic Mania. The Sonic Mania Plus they did, which was a different game, mind you, because that was with all the extra shit. The original Sonic Mania, I think later they might have done like a non-plus release. But like initially, the only way to get that sucker physically was with the big box, and the big box didn't even have a Switch case in it. Like it was a big, it was badass. The Sonic on the Genesis.
Oh yeah,
it's cool as shit. I still have mine, but like the fact that there wasn't a physical in there is like, okay. So I'm thinking about too, because the dude who is the author of the Switch books, I'm like, so when I do the Switch 2 book, I'm gonna have to have a category for physicals, category for game key cards. That's its own thing. To me, it's like that's not preservation because it's not preserved. So I'm literally, it's gonna have to be game key cards that are first party that I'm gonna buy, and that's it. And because there was that the From Software game that said was exclusive to Switch, I buy that if it's on cartridge. It's exclusive. I can't play it on my Steam Deck, then that works, and Steam that works on everything that I have. Like literally, you make it real hard, Nintendo, for us to continue to blindly support, because it is not 2017 anymore. There's a lot more options out there now, and so it's like I have transitioned. Most have transitioned. But you're not talking preservation.
Yeah, because I mean, once you get out of the preservation side of it and you start to really just go digital, you're just like, well, if I'm going to go digital, might as well save on Steam. Because the Nintendo prices are going to be, there's going to be like any game on like the eShop that's like $17.99, and it's going to be on Steam for $6.99 at the same time.
This is the same reason that I have like maybe six PS5 games.
Yeah.
Like I don't have many PS5 games. I have a few because they were on sale or whatever, but like Astrobot, badass game. You can't play it anywhere else. That's a first party. I'm not getting all the first party PlayStation because I'm a Nintendo, like born and bred Nintendo fan. So like I will go and get my favorite IPs. Even on Switch, I didn't get all the damn Nintendo IP games.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of those that I didn't buy because I didn't want to play them.
There's some I wish I didn't buy.
Some of the sports ones and things, like I just didn't. The last Nintendo published that for Switch that I didn't buy yet is the Xenoblade Chronicles X. I haven't bought that yet. I do want to buy that because I mean Xenoblade 1's great. Still haven't beaten 2. Still haven't beaten 3. But and I have the Torno one or whatever. So I have all 4 of the others.
Great. Yeah, X is great.
I have it on Wii U. I just never played it. Again, infinite backlog. Don't need it now. And even with my Switch collecting, like I have a collector's app. Eventually some jerk's gonna finish the whole Switch book series, and I'll just have it in a book. But like I have all the games that I want to buy, but I don't need to buy them immediately. And I'll go to game conventions and hunt them down and have fun and talk to people and do all the things, like because that's the experience is just as fun, hunting.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, like all Switch 2 aside, say you decide to take a year before you get the Switch 2. There's no problem with that because there's so much to explore on the Switch. Like that is such an amazing console with such a huge catalog that like folks could be still collecting for the Switch like 5 years from now. And it just scratched the surface,
Dude, right there, that right there, and it should be like the corner. That's all Switch. And that's just been the last couple years, and I don't collect for it hardcore, and I've found and purchased that many damn games, and I don't do the pre-orders anymore either. I mean, like when Limited Run's doing them, or or Premium or First Press or any of those, like even my old company, like I'm not going and pre-ordering because I move all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like I can't change my address or remember to change my address because there was still some of these were still coming to me as of this year from stuff that I pre-ordered before I moved 2 times ago. And I'm like, I moved too much, man. So I'll hunt them down later. Some of this shit will be expensive because limited print stuff is going to go up in price. That's one of my things as a collector. I am very well aware that there will be a trough of no value where things will be affordable somewhat, but with the limited print stuff, it's going to be scarce.
And that's where the thrill of the hunt comes in. That's when you go back to that retro, go back to retro collecting, 10, 15 years ago. That's what we loved about it. It's like going to flea markets and being like, I don't know if they're going to have a little Samson. Now it's going to be like, I'm going to go to a flea market and they might have like some Switch game that's really valuable and they don't know because it is so widely popular. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be kind of fun to collect for the Switch while, everyone's doing the Switch 2 stuff, like just going back, because that's what I always did anyway. Like I have a whole retro collection because that's what I did when I was younger because it was always cheaper.
And we're going to be here while Switch 2 comes, the trough of no value. So we're going to be hitting that bottom of the trough where people are getting rid of their Switch stuff while Switch 2's coming out. You can get stuff a little more affordable. So it's going to be really fun to tackle off some of those more obscure things before they shoot up in price.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And realistically, though, a lot of the limited print stuff is being purchased by collectors, so you may not find those type of things. Mm-hmm. So, but here's the real thing, though, and as you like to do, it's only a problem if you only need to go fast if we didn't have all these indie games to play.
Yeah,
and we have infinite to freaking play, man. Even this week, I've played some stuff, and it's every week. And it gets larger and larger. And I think I've decided that I'm going to make not a second backlog, but a currently playing section on Steam. I got my backlog, but my backlog is too big now because there's games I haven't touched in my backlog on my deck for years.
It's like the backlog that's still warm.
To the backlog. The backlog to the backlog. Because you got your favorites, but the favorites are like my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Stuff even I've beaten. Then there's the backlog. Now the backlog's too big. So now I'm going to make a second backlog. Current backlog. And then, because that way it's like, because you get paralysis of choice when the list gets too big. And you don't want to play anything because there's too much there. And they're like, well, all these games are great. I'm going to play all this stuff in my backlog. But my backlog now is 40 games or something. Like, I don't have 40 games. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be interesting to talk about what we've been playing. And I got 3 this week that I was able to play a little bit.
I haven't played much. The only game I've been playing, and it's not indie, is I've been playing Kid Chameleon. I have been playing that because I remember we were talking behind the scenes. And you know what was so funny about Kid Chameleon is how many versions I have of it. Because I was like playing it on the Switch, and I was playing on the Genesis collection on the Switch. I was playing it that way, and I was having a good time. I liked the rewind feature. I was feeling like I could like really digest it. But then I was like, I got my CRT over there with my Raspberry Pi. So I played the rest of it on the CRT, and it was just so much better. Like it just feels warmer, but. Really, I hadn't played Kid Chameleon so long that I was like, I gotta play it because that's something that we're working on behind the scenes. So,
well, and I think it'd be the next version of video game bullshit, only retro, and this is like because Tristan hasn't been available, so, and so I'm like, we could do retro games, start a new season, start going. Yeah, but like, I mean, I play most of my retro stuff Analog Pocket. And there's not any of I don't even think the Analog Pocket has save states on the Genesis core, so I don't use them, and I just played old schools now. And then I put all the scan lines the best of my ability. With My Life in Gaming, they do pretty good recommendations. So I try to do it.
Still use this little guy, this little Amber Nick. The only thing I don't like about this handheld is like it does cramp my hand after a while, but. It's great for like Game Boy games, like that series stuff.
So the indie games that I played this week, I had some good ones. The
Mm.
first one was the randomizer on Steam Deck. So I went to the deck, I hit randomizer. I played this game. It's called Metaloid Origin, and I'm sure you've played this one.
I I haven't played Origin. I played the first one on the Switch, and it was one of those late night shopping sprees where I was like, I'm gonna spend $10 on something, and it was like $7.99, and it was fun. I will say like Origins looks a lot better. Like it looks a lot
Yes.
more polished because the first one looked almost like a Game Boy Color game. It was really weird.
Yeah, so this one really reminds me because it's Mega Man style. Like let's
Yeah.
get that like
Yeah.
clear. Very action platformer Metaloid. Going against there's multiple different stages, but I think you have to start on the first stage. You can't like pick at the beginning. But reminds me a lot of Luminous Avenger X or Mighty Gunvolt, but more Luminous Avenger X with the really polished Game Boy Advance style graphical aesthetics. That's what like Luminous Avenger does on the Switch. There's 1 and 2. I want to say there's 2 of them on Switch and on Steam. And so Metaloid Origin reminded me of that. And then there's 3 characters though you could choose. I chose a girl with like a little fast shotgun, and it was fun. I didn't get drawn in, so I played it for like a good single play session. I don't know if I got to the end boss or not. I don't know if I did. But then once I, got through and got the game over, I'm like, all right, move on to the next game.
That was my issue when I played the first one was it was fun, but it didn't grab me, you know.
Exactly.
It didn't like but it was like good. Like it wasn't a bad game by any stretch of imagination. It just didn't make me want to keep playing it, you know.
That's exactly it. And if it doesn't make me want to keep playing, I move on nowadays because it's like, all right, time is money and my interest level needs to move on to something else. And so, yeah, so the game is really cool. If you like Mega Man games, you might get drawn in. Action platformers, lots of variety, lots of upgrades. There's a whole upgrade system in there, and I felt like that could draw me in because I was already starting to upgrade some stuff in the game, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, something that you sit down and really stew in like after a while, like you get really
Yeah.
caught up in the customization. I could see that.
And so while it's not in my backlog or current backlog, but not in my backlog, it's not going to be deleted either off my deck. So it has a chance, 1 in 1,000 chance to pop up again on a random. And I'll play it again when it does the randomizer. But the next game that I played, Xander, is from last episode. And it's in the current backlog. And this is Beyond the Ice Palace 2 that we talked about. I said I was going to play it. Oh my gosh.
So it's good.
I've not only played it once, I played it 2 different play sessions. I literally played it yesterday again. And so first time I played it, it plays, it says it's a Metroidvania. It's really not. It is, but it's more of a Castlevania Rondo of Blood if you could go back with little warps back to old levels.
Okay.
So it's an interconnected Metroidvania with different stuff. It goes level by level, but then you can warp back to different spots. So if there's like a locked door somewhere, you get a key somewhere, you could probably warp back to it. And so, or if you missed something, but there's no like tracker of what I missed, so I wasn't really paying attention to that. But there's like a mid boss that's pretty easy to beat, and then there's these giant bosses. So there's like this big hedgehog looking manipulated guy that I had to fight. He was shooting tendrils everywhere, and then would like grab you and destroy you. And I mean, it took me. This was like a mare. It had some weird something page. It was a page. It was this title, but it took me like 10 to 15 times to beat him. I kept dying. But I was learning each time. And so like
That's good.
You have skills in the game.
Yeah.
So you can like your chains that you have that you rip off when you start with, you can like grab on and latch onto stuff and swing, or you can latch on and jump up and do like tons of little awesome things. I just got a double jump. You could do that. There's multiple attacks, including like you can do like a charge attack. You could do a dash, like to dodge things. And so like the combat is spot on. It's very slow paced though. You're not running around. You're trotting along, which is it's by design.
Yeah, it's the Belmont strut. That's what I call it.
By design. And so like going versus the enemy though, it was like you just had to learn how the attack pattern happened. So he would sit there and first time you just go and you try cheesing him, and he just beats the shit out of you, it kills you. There's like little hooks, so you could try to go over the top of him, but he kicks your ass. So you realize, okay, you got to do this little twirly whip like you would do with your Castlevania whip and Castlevania 4, and it'll kill the projectiles they shoots up. And then you just have to like move out of the way when he's going to try to grab you. Then he does the pound thing, you got to like grab. So like you just got to do things in succession to beat him. Now I'm in the next level, or maybe it's the third, but the next major boss, and it's Crabboat. It's a crab boat.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it looks like Gothic style. But like literally that's the next boss. And then I was like, all right, I am pausing again. So like I literally got to that first boss, the giant boss, and I died. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna pause there. That was the night before. And then I played through a couple more biomes. And then went through and got to the crab boat. But throughout this time, you're going through levels, you get little shards, and every 5 shards gets you a giant like upgrade stone shard thing. You could find upgrade shards. So I've already upgraded my attacks, my vitality, my HP. I heard a ding.
Oh yeah.
I've updated a lot of stuff already in Beyond the Ice Palace too. So I'm already feeling more powerful. And it just feels like, again, it's akin to the experience of playing Rondo of Blood, where you go through level by level. And it saves your progress. If you die, you go back to a checkpoint. There was right before a boss fight, there's a checkpoint. So it wasn't like it was unreasonable. And so it is in the current backlog for sure. The game's awesome. Highly recommended. And that is absolutely the March game of the month for indie for the month.
Well, I'm glad. I'm like hearing your enthusiasm. I'm glad that it delivered what we saw in the trailer. Because I mean, we were really stoked about it when we were talking about it on the horizon. We were just like, man, this looks really good. And sometimes you play those games and it's just like, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But it sounds like this was really good. So I'm gonna have to check it out.
I was surprised and absolutely worth playing. Yeah, there was a little bit of finagling I had to do on Steam Deck to get it to work, but once I figured that out, it works flawless on Steam Deck. So it was like full finagling to get licenses to work. It was something weird. I had to like look it up online. I'm like, oh, do this, and it worked.
Now, this next game looked really cool. I was looking at the B-roll of this, The Great Rebellion.
Wow. And this was my second retro randomizer after Metaloid Origin. Because I had played Beyond the Ice Palace 2 first, because I said I was going to play it. But I wanted to talk about Metaloid because I was like, that's a move on. But Beyond the Ice Palace is chef's kiss. And the Great Rebellion is an interesting one. So I loaded up. It has all this synth retro neo wave music and all this craziness that you're watching when you see it start playing, and it looks badass. It looks crazy. You go to play the game and the graphics are like basic, like the art in the game. I was like, interesting. So I still gave it a shot though. And it drew me in. The gameplay loop, because the levels are procedurally generated. So when you go to a level, it goes generating level, and it does like the synth stuff, and then you go to play. The only thing that I would criticize is that you have to jump with R2.
Oh yeah.
You don't jump with you can't remap the button, so I can't just like swap. Because if I could swap like the A button for R2 and just swap the two, I'd be good. Because A button is just used to talk to people. I just use this.
Yeah, I would make more sense to use a trigger for that.
Yeah. And then it's like a twin stick shooter for actual shooting. So you move around with the character, but it's 2D, not 3D. It's 2D platformer. But so it's platforming, and I have to jump with the damn R2. but like use the second the right stick to shoot in any direction, which is really cool. So I'm sitting there using the stick to shoot, and your main gun is unlimited ammo, but then you can continually find tons of, like a roguelike, find tons and tons of guns, like Binding of Isaac. You find tons of stuff. And so
Yeah.
and you can again upgrade abilities just like in Beyond the Ice Palace, dude, just like in Metaloid Origin, just like in this game. That is like a staple of modern gaming now, is you get to continually upgrade your characters. And so I've already upgraded to where I can carry not just one extra gun, but like 2 or 3 now. But I have this one that's like a giant ball, like almost like a dodgeball, and I could just throw them all out, and there's like 300 of them. So I could just throw out a bunch of dodgeballs, and then you can get more ammo. So I just use that because it literally bounces all over the place to kill us.
That's awesome.
And then you can get familiars, kind of like SMA Symphony. And you can pick up familiars, and they'll help attack on your behalf. But they have like a health bar, so they don't last forever. But yeah, so you'll go through the level. There's a Castlevania Metroidvania style map, and they'll put up like doors, and you have to clear out everything in the area as enemies pop up. And then you'll get a warp, and then you can go to the next sections, and you like clear out the map, and then you get to the end after a boss fight. That's kind of how this game goes, level by level. But it's addictive as shit because it's not super unfair.
Okay.
It's challenging, but it's not unfair. So if you're careful, you can avoid taking a lot of damage. I'm still taking damage, and I almost died in the second level, but I was being careful, throwing my balls everywhere. And
I was gonna say, well, when a game is like fair, that's when you had the element of that just one more game. That's how you get hooked. Like you were talking about earlier, going back to Beyond the Ice Palace 2, when you were fighting that boss, like it was kicking your ass, but you're just like, I can beat it. And it is just something so rewarding that when you play those games that have those like crazy boss fights or levels, and you finally get it done, you're just like, yeah, you're like yelling to the heavens, you know? It's just such a good feeling. So yeah, another banger right there.
Oh, and this one, it's more so you're a little more overpowered than the enemies, the bosses. So you like take them out like Smash TV style. You just take them all out, and then even like the bosses, they're freaking huge, like screen filling, bullet hell, giant ass bosses. But I'm still able to cheese them and kill them. And there's strategic like pillars and stuff. So I just hide behind the pillar when the damn crazy bullet hell's coming at me, and I just don't get hit. And so I barely, with one sliver of health left, beat the second level boss. And then I went to there, and actually before I got to the boss fight, because I was my daughter was in her class at night, so I had an hour, and I played Beyond the Ice Palace, and I played the Great Rebellion a second time, and I ran out of time. So then I finished it when I got home, so I could finish the boss, and I'm like, all right, done. Put a save.
Oh yeah, got it. Got it all done.
So that one is also on my backlog, and I don't think we talked about the Great Rebellion at all. That was a random one. So
Yeah.
because remember, I have like 1,000 indie games on my deck, and we haven't talked about 1,000 games here. So I've been doing the indie hunting for years, which is why this podcast is not necessarily dangerous, but it's just more games going into the back.
It's dangerous for me because a lot of it's stuff like I've never heard of. I'm like, whoa, what? You're like, yeah. The Great Rebellion. Check this out, Xander.
Well, so to put things into perspective, the most fun I had making like my NES book was when I did the NES Oddities and found all the NES homebrew aftermarket games and all the Famicom games that were released I had no clue about. There's a bunch of platformers on the Famicom that were amazing. I'm like, what the hell? So it was like mind blown that there's so many amazing games out there. And then you just see Steam and it's like 80,000 a year.
Yeah.
Jesus. And I'm like, well, I'm OCD enough to find a lot of cool ones. That's just it, man. So yeah, and
I'd say, and we're still finding more and more and more, because this goes into our next segment, On the Horizon. This is where we talk about some of these games that we just discovered, and we're like, hey, we should probably check this out. Maybe it'll be in a future episode, like Beyond the Ice Palace too. You know.
When most weeks I get to like go through a giant list and pull a few. There's 5 games that I found this week total. This is all 5. So, and a couple of them I was already tracking. So like that were coming out, and like they were already, like I already knew about them beforehand. I think our second one we're going to talk about, I'm mildly disappointed about, but the others all look awesome. The others all look awesome. But yeah, this first one, AI Limit.
That it didn't even look like an indie game. I mean, that looked like straight up like insane.
It looks like Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Or Bayonetta or something crazy. This developer has only done this one game.
Ah.
Like, so I don't know, like, if they've like worked on other stuff, because like the digital publisher has a couple games under their belt that are like that I know of. The digital publisher, which they're CE Asia, like they got a bunch, but this Sense Games, like I would, without doing extensive research on every damn developer, like I don't see anything else they've worked on. And this game was just released in March of 2025. Like the game looks excellent though. Like if you could put anything into it, it's like a Daemon X Machina, like Xenoblade Chronicles.
I like the cell shading that it has.
Yeah, and the characters have an anime cell shaded artwork to them. Like the game's expensive. It's like a $35 game. There's deluxe, there's 40. Like it's a full on actual price. Kind of reminds me of some of the other indie games that came out like years past, like Raji, that I did with Premium, that were like excellent games that just didn't have a full crazy release,
Mm-hmm.
Dude. But this game, action hack and slash.
Is this the Bubble Ghost game?
No, I'm asking action. I think we have a little bit of a delay here. Oh, action hack and slash is the genre. Souls-like.
Oh, for the AI limit, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I got get all confused there.
I think your Xander got scrambled.
Totally scrambled. I got over easy on that one. But yeah, it's I did see it was a little bit more of an expensive game, but I feel like it kind of warrants it because it looks very, very like polished, you know?
So I think is it more Souls-like than hack and slash? Is that what it is?
I think so. I think it's more hack and slash.
Yeah. So I guess we can move on to Bubble Ghost, since you want to talk bubbly ghosts.
This game just looked funny to me. I don't know what it was, the animation of the dude just floating around. It just kind of
played the original Bubble Ghost. That's the question.
No, I haven't.
Original Game Boy was Bubble Ghost. OG Game Boy. And if you see the box art of the original Game Boy Bubble Ghost, you're like, I saw it, I'm like, oh, I definitely played it, and it was pretty fun. Because again, on the Game Boy, there wasn't, you had to do gameplay over quality. Well, it's just the art style of this game just doesn't seem to mesh well. And I don't know if it's just the main character or what it is.
It looks like a totally different like art style. Like it just because you look at I'm looking at the Game Boy one right now, and it looks, very like chibi. It almost looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, where this looks very like Cartoon Network looking, just but like I don't know. The quality goes down a little bit, but it looks silly.
It just doesn't flow. And I mean, the developer's done a few things. The digital publisher's done a few things. Another game released March of 2025 was $20 game. And so for $20, I would say, I'm not a fan of the main character's art. Like, so that just pulls me out immediately. What is it about this?
I think it's the smirk. I think it's that smirk. Like he just like, I don't know, like he just said something really smart ass to you. Like maybe you should have based out in this. I didn't.
Fuck you, guy. You missed your puzzle. So the game itself, it says action adventure arcade platformer. I thought that this was a puzzle platformer from the
That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like to me when I was watching the tutorial.
And it says there's 40 levels, so that's where I'm like, I don't think it's an action adventure game. It makes it sound like it's a damn Metroidvania when I think it's a puzzle game. So
that's what it looked like to me.
I could be wrong. But damn, like, so that one's to me probably not. I just wanted to cover it because of the retro background of it being a Game Boy game back in the day.
Yeah.
That's why I want to cover it. Now this next game.
Oh man. This one I'm excited about, and I did see that there is a demo, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I saw the demo and I'm like, I don't have enough time to check it out before we start recording. But the new Gal Gun, dude.
Gal Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I keep getting it mixed up with Gal Gun because it's a spinoff of Gal Gun, but yeah, Gal Guardians.
Yeah, and so this is the second game, the second Gal Guardians game. And it's made by Inti Creates, so you know the quality is good. But it is a Castlevania style. I don't think it says Metroidvania on the thing. I didn't think that the first was Metroidvania. I thought it was more action level based. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're correct. The first one was like stage based.
Like, is this Metroidvania?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. Is like, is this like, this could be what makes it different. Is more of a Metroidvania as opposed to, that stage base that you can kind of back travel a little bit.
Because if they made this into a Metro, because it says it even in the main description, Metroidvania adventure. So the only thing is 60% positive, so it's mixed positivity score for it. I'm not sure why, because the first one was like Castlevania with guns. Like you have one character with the whip, one character with guns, and it was really cool to be able to switch between them. It's badass. So, but I mean, it does look like it's Metroidvania now. Just from the video that's rolling. So I'm like, that, if that's the case, that's because I liked the first Gal Guardians. It was really cool. I liked it. Again, though, just like Metaloid earlier, there was something about it that I didn't go back to it.
I got all the way almost to the end, and the end pulls a Ghosts and Goblins, where it's just kind of like you have to go all the way back to the beginning, and I never picked it back up after that. I enjoyed it.
I might have saw somebody's review and saw that, and I was like,
yeah, I was like, really? Because I had so much momentum. I even live streamed it a couple of times. I was really enjoying it. When I got to that last boss, and the boss was really challenging, I beat his ass, and it's like, oh, now you got to go all the way back to the very beginning. And I'm like, no, this isn't Ghouls and Ghosts, dude. I'm done.
So hopefully this game doesn't do that. I'd be interesting to see why not recommended. Let's see. Let me read the very first review that says not recommended, which is the very first one. It says, game shows promising demo, but I regret to say that the full game was a disappointment. So the demo is good. The fast travel is extremely poorly implemented and somehow exists simultaneously with being required to return to base in order to level up, acquire progression abilities. This makes for long, tiresome backtracks several times throughout the game through already visited areas. Combined with the leveling system being tied to random drops, secret, there's a quotation, chests, and expensive merchants, progression has no cohesive flow throughout the game. The game's movement is cool, but the basic dash and later obtained Devil Dash with a lovely take on Aria's Panther. The majority of the progression is just stacking the characters' jump counts. And it is a giant ass fucking review.
Yeah, this dude went all in.
Yeah, so he said at the end, though, says, well, it does have strong qualities. The gameplay lacks the polish that I would expect from an Inti Creates game. Interesting. So, but he's not the only one that has written something like that. So that's where it's like, that makes me somewhat worried about this game. But I'm still excited for it. What's the price of it? $26 or something?
Yeah, it's a little high up there. I was about to say this might be something you wait for a Steam sale. Yeah, because it's like $27.
With that many mixed reviews, it might be worth waiting. Or if they do what they did with the first one, put it out on a physical, like because Indie Crates typically gets a physical. If they put it out in a physical, maybe I'll get the physical version later.
Yeah.
For Switch 1. This next game though.
Yeah, this one looked pretty cool. Like top down hack and slash.
Action roguelikes. They're like when roguelikes first came around, Xander, I did not like the idea of the roguelike because I don't like being unable to get good enough to not die. That was it. But after a while, playing enough of them, I have gotten used to the idea, and so now I enjoy it if there's a nice progression system. And so I just gotta have a feeling of continual of evolution. This game is actually a more affordable game too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's called what is that? MYRIAD Death?
MYRIAD Death, something like that. And this developer, another game released March of 2025. They released a game called Raspberry Match in 2021, which was also an action shooter roguelike. So this is their second action roguelike. So if you end up playing Myriad Death and like it, you can maybe play the other game by the developer as well. This one has very positive reviews, and it looks awesome though. Like the gameplay just looks solid. You fight tons and tons of zombies with weapons, and you get to continually upgrade. Like
kind of overhead. It looks like a badass Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, it does. It has that because of the little character sprites and everything, and it just reminds me of a cool little pixelated roguelike, and I dig them. I definitely dig them.
Not bad.
Man, so
this last one, is what Sonic the Hedgehog wants to be. I'll go ahead and say it. I'll go ahead and say it. Haste Broken Worlds is a fast-paced, 3D platformer that's just high adrenaline. Like it is so fast-paced, insane.
And it's listed just as Haste, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, Haste Broken Worlds.
Because there's a game called Haste on Steam as well.
Oh, are we talking about two different games?
Well, this one's 3D Sonic style game, Haste. Unless it's called Haste Broken Worlds down here. Yep, it is the same game. So it's listed as Haste on Steam. But the actual game is Haste Broken Worlds. Yeah, dude, this game looks crazy. Like you're like diving and going through and running fast, and like it is wild. This game looks so cool.
It just came out not too far from our recording. Came out on April Fool's Day, like April 1st.
Oh, nice.
It says third-person high-speed running gameplay, 10 shards, each featuring a collection, generate levels that may be completed without fail to advance to the next shard. I mean, this looks like a really fun game. I like it. And there's a dead one.
Awesome. Very positive. I have ice in my mouth now. Damn it. But probably the best reviewed game that we have from the episode. Made by Landfall Games. They have a lot of games that they've built too. They're all indie stuff. They did make Cluster Truck. Do you remember Cluster Truck?
I don't think I ever played Cluster Truck.
So Cluster Truck is you're going down a highway with tons of trucks and you got to jump off between the trucks. It's like if you look up Cluster Truck, it is like insane. It is like a freaking car crash of trucks everywhere, and you got to dive and jump off of them. So if anything, this developer knows how to do 3D platforming. And so the fact that you're doing that in a Sonic style speed going forward, like it looks cool as shit. Like this game looks awesome. It is $16 on sale right now, which is not bad. Introductory offer ends in a few days. So by the time you view this episode, the introductory offer will be done. But yeah, and they've already done a patch on the April 3rd, fixing some stuff. So that's cool. But yeah, this game looks badass. Again, this one could be one of the April games of the month. You never know. Because it is a bad one. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, before we wrap up, I think we got some good people to thank.
Oh, I got some treats to show off too.
Oh yeah, let's see some treats.
Because the key is that by the time this is going up, the Kickstarter for the complete SNES limited dust leaf should be going live, and I have made a few art pieces since last episode before I launched, so I could show them off on like video. So I finished coloring Mario from Mario RPG, and I haven't shown Xander the others. So the next one is Chrono. Trigger with the sword.
Oh my God! Look at that. That is
fully painted. Again, hand painting these. Now the last one, and I wanted to show Super Nintendo ones. This is Super Nintendo Kickstarter, so I made some Super Nintendo ones. The last one's the most complicated one that I've done. I want to say the pixels are about half the size of the others, but it is from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and it is big. And check this out.
Wow.
Aghanim getting rid of one of the maidens into the dark world from this thing, and I painted all of it. And
you even get the little shadow that you're holding, like the little black shadow little piece. That's like, so that is awesome.
Yeah. So the Kickstarter does have opportunities for you to commission me to make whatever pixels you want. Like, obviously it's Super Nintendo Kickstarter, but like I'm not gonna limit it. If somebody wants me to do like a Nintendo game, I'll do a damn Nintendo game.
It's like someone gets you to do like a Sega Genesis just because. Like, why not?
I might have a Kid Chameleon over here. Gizmo, get out of here. I have my dog over here. He's gonna try to like knock over the camera because he's a freaking raptor. But anyways, there's also big paintings. So I have like, Double Dragon 2 painting done. I'm working on the Contra one right now. But like if somebody wants a specific Super Nintendo one, it's just that I have to be able to get them done. So I'm gonna offer like one painting or maybe two.
Yeah.
Because they take time. I mean, this guy right here, it took me a long time to do. So
yeah, especially like once you start getting more into the higher bits, the 16-bit, 32-bit, you start to really realize all the different colors that are within the little pixels, and you're just like, wow, this is much more detailed than I remember.
Look, I mean, even here, there's multiple reds for Mario.
Yeah,
different reds, and even the reds in here are different shades. It's hard to tell, but they're there, and that's why his hand pops, because there's literally dark gray, silverish, white, like it's black on the bottom. Like, it is crazy, but it's fun to do. I love doing it. But yeah, definitely finished coloring these. I'm gonna work on some others this weekend because it's just therapeutic to get away from a computer and like do something non-computer. So, but for the Kickstarter, I will be offering the opportunity to do a few of these. I'll have a few of them on there. By the time this airs in MYRIAD, I'll be sold out. But I will be, hosting. I go to conventions, I'll bring them with me, and I make these for me. But if it sells, I'll just make another one for me. Like it's okay. Like I'm cool with that. As Mario says, cool. Do you want to thank our executive producers, Andy?
Indeed, I was gonna say they're cool too.
They are super cool.
We're gonna give a big thanks you to Akaroth.
Akaroth or Akriloth? We've said it both ways.
Akriloth.
David Isherwood.
Lunchbox, aka the disgruntled gamer from Thunderdome Gaming Society.
Dude, he's always posting awesome stuff in
our
Facebook group and in the Patreon chat. There's been a lot of talk about different aspects about cool new games. I mean, he also did a review on Beyond the Ice Palace 2, which caused me to want to play it faster. Ooh. Yeah. And then, of course, Jesse, go ahead.
Indeed. And as always, guys, I want to thank you for checking out another episode of the Indie Credibles. And as always, support indie.